Well, good morning. Good day to you. Good 2019. This is the January 2019 edition of the Mayor's Roundtable for the City of Bucyrus. Welcome. We hope 2018 was a great year for you. We're putting together a strong agenda for 2019 and beyond, and upcoming shows will be kind of addressing those things that we have in the plans. And today we're going to be concentrating on this show pretty much one thing, and that will be our utility bill and our water department. Some of the questions that we get from time to time about our utility rates and about our water rate and how they're figured. So hopefully this will be an informational program for you. Two guests today. We have Mr. Mike Kalb, who is our computer supervisor for the City of Bucyrus. How many years have you worked in the department, Mike?
In the water office since '05. So
2005. So you got.
And then I took a little short break, but you know.
So we're glad you're back. He does a great job there, and it's a very busy office. A lot of money goes through that office every year, and we have no issues there. Everything seems to be running very smoothly, and new software.
New software, new billing software.
Why did we do new software? Tell the folks. So let's start there.
The new billing software we went with, we're able to do e-billing. There's a few other options we can do with it. You can pay online. If you go to the city's website at cityofbucyrus.ohio.us, you can go on there, pay your utility bill. You can pay with a credit card. There is a convenience fee to use the credit card. It's a minimum of $3, up to $113, and then it goes by percentage. You can also pay with a check online, and it's a one-time deal. You can put your information in there for your checking account, and we'll take it out of your checking account if you want, and there's no cost for that. You can do it every month. Or you can come into the office with that check, and we can set you up for auto withdrawal every month on your due date, and there's no charge for that either.
I love auto withdrawal for a reason. I know maybe once or twice in the last few years.
Yeah, we've had a few mayors on that shut-off list before.
It's not that I didn't pay my bill. It's just that, it gets shuffled, and Mike says, "Are you going to pay the bill here?" I said, "Yeah." But what I did is I signed up for auto withdrawal. I love auto withdrawal. It's paid every month. And,
right.
Yeah.
On the auto withdrawal, if we do it monthly, it comes out every month on the due date, either the 5th or the 20th. Mm-hmm. If I do it online, I do it every couple days. There's people, some days I might have 6 or 7, and then there's days I might have 10 people that sign up for the auto withdrawal. And also I have to wait for if you have the date set as 5 days earlier, I have to wait until that day to take it out of your account.
So we're trying to make it convenient. You still have plenty of options. I know today we're kind of heading towards a cashless society, although we still do quite a bit of cash, I know, in our water utility office. And then the fees that the credit card company, maybe many of you don't realize that credit card companies like Visa, MasterCard, American Express, Discover, all charge a fee. That's how they make money. And typically they'll charge the merchants that fee, or the people that are accepting the credit card. It's a pretty good deal for them, not so much for us as consumers. So from the City of Bucyrus's viewpoint, the reason we have that convenience fee added is because we still have those other options, a check or cash that you can use. But if you decide to use a credit card, that's fine too. We just needed to be fair to everybody to make it revenue neutral. So last year our credit card fees probably ran, I'm guessing, in the $20,000 range, I suppose. So to spread that out among people who are not using credit cards wasn't fair. So council voted that, I want to say 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah. So and that's why we do that. As credit card fees hopefully drop, we will certainly look at all those types of things too. And talk about the online though. We've had a few questions about how long that takes.
The online, if you pay with the credit card, the old system we had, it used to take 2 to 3 days till we would get it and cleared through the bank. The new system we have, I you pay, I get an email within an hour of you paying,
It's a good deal.
and it goes into the bank the next day. It closes out at 3 o'clock in the morning, so
Mhm.
if you pay after 3 o'clock in the morning, it goes on the next business day.
That's great, because, and if you pay the last day it's due, then you'll avoid the penalties now. Whereas before with the old software, it might have been a couple days yet, and which we still hadn't received the payment, so that's another reason we went to the new software. What else does the new software allow us to do? Is there anything we
Well,
need to touch
like
on?
I said, you can sign up for e-billing. We won't send you a paper copy anymore. We'll send you a e-bill. Same time we send out the regular bills, and there's no cost.
Is there, I know the city of Bucyrus used to send out notices if your bill was late and you were getting ready to be shut off. And that was stopped as a money-saving,
Right.
money-saving item there, I would say 5 or 6 years ago, and when budgets were really tight. And is there any chance with this new software that we could send emails out to people?
That's one of the things, they're working on the software on that. The company's still looking at stuff. But yeah, we'll have a possibility to maybe send out disconnect fees on email. The other thing also, people who call the office just to find out how much their bill is can log online, set up an account, and see how much their bill is, and past history, and print out bills for whatever they want.
All the history will be there. Just
Yeah.
that's easy to do, and most of us are getting a little bit, even people my age are getting a little bit better at doing all those types of things, because we're almost forced to do it. So yeah, so we're trying to make it as convenient as possible for you. We certainly don't want to shut anyone off. You know, we know water is a resource that we cannot live without, but we just encourage you to take all these options. If you're having trouble paying your water bill or utility bill, and let us know. And if you can make arrangements, a lot of times we're able to not shut you off, depending on what your past history has been. If it happens every month, that's not going to be anything we're going to be able to work with. But if it does happen occasionally, we're also looking into a possible insurance issue we've been talking about actually for a couple of years now. And hopefully in 2019 we'll have a plan together. Like many other utility departments in other cities have a insurance plan. So let's say, like for instance, last month at my business, my bill was $300. Now typically it's $75. I opened it and I said, what happened? So I asked the people who work for me. He said, well, the toilet was running. Well, it went from $75 to $300. Well, that's not the city's fault. That's our fault. So we're responsible. I have to pay that. And that brings up another point. All the people who work for the city, we pay the same rate as you. We get no discount. We get no special consideration or anything. We pay whatever the rate is, just like all citizens do. So, but we're looking into that insurance plan to hopefully a case like that for residents, possibly just residents. We're not sure if it's going to do a commercial one or not. That will, let's say your bill goes up. You have a toilet running, you have a leak, and maybe your bill goes from $50 to $500, and that's a kick in the pants. I know I've had it happen more than once, and we're looking into some kind of a voluntary insurance plan where you might be able to pay a small fee every month, and then if you have a leak, we'll have an insurance pool that will be able to kick in on that. More details later. We're going to take a few more minutes. And then we're going to have our next guest, Safety Service Director, Mr. Jeff Wagner, who's waiting in the wings. And we're going to talk a little bit about how the bill is structured. And producer Gary Hess is going to zoom in on the bill. Mike's got a copy of a bill, and he's going to kind of go line by line and tell you what each one represents. So Gary, you're on.
All right, on the bills, like this one here, we have previous balance. It shows what your previous balance was for the month. They also made a payment. It shows that the payment was made and any adjustments made to the bill. The water is, the readings are on here. is actual water that went
Can
through.
you talk about usage? What's that?
Usage, we
Yeah.
bill by 100 cubic feet. Usage is how much water went through the meter. For every 100 cubic feet, that's 748 gallons.
748 gallons for one cubic foot.
foot. So on a minimum bill, that's 1,496 gallons.
So we have a minimum bill of 2.
Right.
Right. And that allows us to pay for the water, and also, you know, we have underground pipes to maintain, and plenty of other things, staff to maintain those too, so.
Now, this
Can
bill's
you
a
see that all right?
business.
Is that good enough?
This is a business bill, so they have 2 meters, so their consumption's a little higher. Now, the sewer is based off of the water consumption also.
How does that get figured?
Well,
50%, right?
it-
Typically, or, yeah.
Yeah, the sewer has a different rate than the water, and it's billed as, you know, if you use 20 cubic feet of water, you're gonna get billed for 20 cubic feet of sewer.
And why are we paying for sewer? What does that do for us?
Sewer, you know, is all the groundwater.
Yeah, we clean it,
You know.
clean, we can't just dump sewage, raw sewage, we have to clean it.
Yeah, that all
Yeah,
goes
yeah.
to the wastewater
It goes to
plant,
wastewater, and that's what that fee is for.
and that comes out clean water,
Right,
and to meet the EPA standards.
exactly,
And then stormwater, that is the runoff of your property. Every residence pays $4 per month for stormwater. That money goes to the stormwater separation project, which also the stormwater separation, the $7.20, that also is billed every month per, so.
yeah. The stormwater there's some of the things that we're going through right now with the EPA, the mandate that we signed in 2015, so now might be a good time to talk a little bit about stormwater. We have more overflows in the city than the EPA would allow. So with those are what's called raw sewage overflows. And I know it's not pleasant to think about, but what happens is when our wastewater plant on Southern Avenue is unable to, during a heavy rainstorm, is unable to handle the capacity of water that goes through, we have what's called overflows that open up. And unfortunately, that dumps right into the Sandusky River. Well, it's a new era, you know, even though one time, like we sit over City Hall, the sewage actually flowed underneath here, what's called the Buffalo Run. But what we're doing now as a society is to do a better job of protecting our drinking water, protecting our wonderful Lake Erie. So those overflows, if you can imagine, from Bucyrus and Upper Sandusky, Tiffin, Fremont, all the way up there, they add up all the way. And by the time they get up to Lake Erie, you know, it's a problem, as you've been following in the news. So the EPA has been in negotiations with the city of Bucyrus, first the Ohio EPA, then the federal EPA. And in 2015, it was one of the first things that I was able to do was negotiate a favorable deal to the residents of the city of Bucyrus to address this problem. We want to be good stewards of our environment. So what our goal then is to separate the storm water that comes in the rainstorms, separate that so that goes directly into the river and not through our plant. So the sewage will still go through the plant. So that's the big projects you see around town. Now, we've done quite a bit of them already. We've done Charles Street, Spring Street, quite a bit up on the north side on Plymouth Street too. Some of the worst area we've been working on here for this year and last year and the year before, that's on the Southern Avenue. We put a brand new trunk line in on Southern Avenue. And now for 2019, we're going to be doing what we call the tie-ins. And those are going to be done, we have 3 groups, group 1, group 2, group 3. And do we have those pictures on the website? We should put those on our website. If we haven't, check the website. And that's going to be down in the quadrant over off Hopley, some of the areas that, and what we're going to do is tie in those homes to the new trunk line. And then we're also doing some work down on Whetstone and Mansfield Street. which is going to alleviate some of the flooding there, and water's going to go directly into the Sandusky River right there. That'll be storm water. So all this is designed to take pressure off what's called the Buffalo Run, which is our main sewer, which runs right through the middle of town, under City Hall, under the post office, goes over to the river. So, not to bore you to death with the details, it's going to be a long project. We have to send in reports to the EPA, twice a year, I think. Yeah, twice a year. So we have an engineering firm that's doing it for us, and it's a lot of work. And so what the whole goal is down the line, this is going to be, probably 20 years before we get it all done, and then millions of dollars. And the design is to reduce those overflows that go into the Sandusky River to a few a year or none a year. And once we get released from that mandate, then we'll adjust our rates. But it's a big project. It's the largest capital project in the history of Bucyrus. It's going to cost in the tens of millions of dollars. So there's never been a larger project in the history of Bucyrus. The problem is it's all underground, but we had no choice on it. We have to do it, and once we get it done, we're going to have that off our backs, and we'll know that we have improved the quality of water and been good stewards of our environment. The sewer projects on the tie-ins, we had a meeting last night here at City Hall, which our engineer was here, Branstetter Carroll, Bruce Branstetter, Tim Branstetter, and we had a nice crowd of people that had received letters about if they're in that area. We had a nice crowd. We answered a lot of questions. Those will start this year and they'll go next year. It's going to be, just to let you know though, we've had some large rainstorms in this city, and one of the ways we were able, with the help of the county commissioners, to address some of that flooding in that area, was to put in a detention pond on the fairgrounds, which has made a huge difference. But it's not going to eliminate all flooding. There's just no way.
When you get heavy downpours, there's
we get a lot of rain. I don't know. I know some people say it's a changing climate. I don't know if this is going to be the norm. But we get a lot of 2 and 3 inch rains, and hopefully it's not going to eliminate every chance of flooding, but it'll eliminate a lot. And we thank you for your patience on that and for contributing to that. And that's just, so we're going to talk about that fee. Everybody gets a fee on their bill, on their utility bill.
Right. And the only other fee that's on the bill, on a regular residential bill, is refuse. Refuse for a regular family is $16 a month, and for a single or retired person is $9.50. For senior, if you're not getting a discount, and you're 62 and retired, bring your ID in, and we'll get you set up for that discount.
Mike, I'm 62. Can I get the discount?
I'll have to ask my boss.
I'm not retired. I'm not retired,
but
so I'm paying the full.
But the discount's only on the refuse. It doesn't affect the water or anything else on the bill. It's just on the trash.
So there's one more thing. What's the Mike, show them that fee. Gary, can you zoom into that?
The $7.20.
The $7.20. Everybody gets that $7.20 fee. Yeah.
Okay, and also on the senior bill, you're only allowed a consumption of 5. If you go over the 5 consumption for 4 months in a row, we're going to turn it back to regular trash because you're using that much water.
Probably using a lot of trash too.
Yeah.
Zoom in on that, Gary.
Okay.
The refuse is not on there, but go ahead and tell them about that.
The 720.
Let's go back to that.
That's when council passed that. That was per meter on every residence, and that also is the stormwater separation or EPA mandated fee to help. All that money goes to help for this stormwater separation project that the city.
And that has, I think, a 3%. Is that the one that has a 3%?
No, that's just.
There's a built-in 3% rate.
That's on the sewer.
On the sewer, yeah.
On the sewer.
Yeah, so that helps pay for all those types of things too. So And we'll talk about that in the next segment, about the increases that we've
But,
had.
you know, when people refer to this as a water bill, it's not, it's a utility
That's
bill.
good. Yeah, where did my little thing go? It's a
It's a bill
utility
for
bill.
multiple
See, here we
things.
go. It's a
Utility
utility
bill.
bill. I know we've always called them water bills for decades, and I have to correct myself too. It's a utility bill, of which water is just one portion of it, right?
Right, you're paying for 5 separate utilities, you know, your water, sewer, stormwater, separation, and the refuse. So, you know, it's not a bad deal, it's not outrageous. You know, it figures the water, if you want to get down to it, the water figures to like 1.5 cents a gallon.
We're gonna talk about that too.
You know, and they're gonna talk about that in the next segment, but, you know,
Yeah, I maybe also do, my utility bill is one of the smaller bills I get at home. You know, my cable TV bill is, and I have no premium channels at all, but my cable TV bill is $130 a month. And my cell phone bill is more than that, I think,
yeah. And
So,
water's a
yeah.
necessity, the
And
TV
then-
and the cell
yeah.
phone's not.
Right, and then I have internet also on that. So that's one of the issues. It kind of stresses people out a little bit. You know, when we were growing up, you know, we didn't have cable TV, we didn't have internet. You know, we had a small phone bill, and the only bill we got every month typically was this bill right here. So as we've tried to become better citizens, and then we're going to talk about one of the reasons the water bill has gone up here in the next segment. What else? What are we missing, Mike? Is there anything I think we covered everything pretty well.
On the bill, if Gary can zoom back in, you know, I know he's all relaxed over there. But the community message, you know,
Oh, yeah.
we put a community message in there, every bill. We try to get everything that is new, something that's going on, our, you know, schedule for the holiday trash pickups, when the compost site's open. But,
Please read it.
yeah, read it. There's important information in there.
If I can tie in on that real quickly, the trash refuse pickup over the holidays, we put it out for 2 months, and it was on our website, on the community note, and so it was on Access Channel too. So unfortunately, a lot of people didn't see. I know on the street I live in, on Plymouth Street, there was a lot of people put their trash out the day before, and that was a holiday for us. So
Yeah.
our guys came back through on Thursday just to make sure the trash didn't get blown all over the neighborhood. But please pay attention to those types of things. It's so helpful.
And on the backside, which this one's blank, but on the backside of the bill, there's also information on garbage, and all that's on the website,
Yeah.
you know. We try to get everything covered that we can.
Okay. Well, I thank you. Thank you for your great work. Thanks for appearing, especially. We have no parting gifts, but you did a wonderful job. And thanks for the work you do down there.
Thank you.
The computer supervisor work is an important piece of that utility office, and you do a great job. So.
Thank you.
And then pass on our thanks to all the people that worked on there too.
Yeah.
All right, thanks again. That's our first segment. We'll be back with Mr. Wagner after this message from our sponsor. Well, thanks. We appreciate you joining us again for a second segment of Mayor's Roundtable 2019 January edition. We're kind of focusing on our utilities for the city of Bucyrus, what the utility bill represents. It's good to have a little bit of a refresher on that. Like first guest, Mike, our supervisor, Mike Cal from the Water Department, kind of broke down all the different segments, and and you found out that it's not really a water bill, right? It's a utility bill. There's a lot of different things on there. So we're pretty proud that the city of Bucyrus can provide these necessary elements for life to you, to your door, and do it at a reasonable rate. Now, we know the rates have gone up over the years for reasons that we're going to kind of get into a little bit here. No one likes to get the rate increases, you know, but they do happen for a couple reasons. Number one is, you know, when we have to go back out and buy equipment, we have to balance those budgets. Those funds are separate from our general fund. those are called enterprise funds. So the revenue that we make in those departments stays in that fund. That's not, can't be spent on anything general fund like government, safety forces, anything we use for improvements at the parks. That's two different funds completely. So we have to balance those by the end of the year. And you know, costs go up, just like when you go to the grocery store, or again, I mentioned your other bills that you get, your phone bill. You know, all those things can go up due to inflation. And the main reason our water rates have gone up over the years has been for two reasons. Number one, the obvious reason is that we have a new water plant. We spent around $25 million to build a state-of-the-art water plant. It's only the third one in the city's history. So we're kind of, we're making history for the city of Bucyrus in a couple ways. The water plant is one way, and then the EPA mandate fulfilling that is another way too. These are things we're building for future generations. Can't live without water. City can't run without water. The water plant, as Mr. Wagner is going to tell you here in a minute, had a need that had to be addressed immediately. Why did we build a new water plant? Can you tell them?
Well, just the age of our old water plant. I think it was, I'd probably be off by a year or two, but I think they actually did some remodeling or adding to
In the
it
70s, yeah.
in the 70s, but I think it was built in like 1948.
Yeah, I think you're exactly right.
All the pumps and the majority of the equipment was in the basement.
Mm-hmm.
So we've been close many times of it being flooded. We had to sandbag, even since I've been here, we had to sandbag a couple of times to keep the water out from coming in the front door. If that would happen and we would flood out, I'm under the understanding it could take up to 6 months before we're up and running to make sure that we're processing the water the correct way. So that was a major concern, but the other major concern was the building was to the point of cracking, and it was beyond repair, being 70 years old, and it was just time that we built a new plant, and we owned the land out where we built it, and it just seemed like the right place to put it. And
And this was decided, a committee decided this, study this back after 2010, and worked with our engineer, Jones and Henry. They put a plan together, and it was voted on by council, I want to say the year 2013, 2014, is before I became mayor. And then the wheels were put in motion. Now here's the issue that we had here. When you buy something at home, if you're buying a new dining room set, or you're buying a new range or stove, and you're charging it and you're paying every month, you've got to pay it back, just like you would a car or anything other major purchase. Well, this is a major purchase. This is a very large purchase, and we were able to borrow the money at a very favorable interest rate, less than 2%. Actually, it was actually lower than what it was planned, what it was originally planned, which would have been closer to 3%, and one of them was 4%. So we were able to combine those two loans, just good fortune, into one loan. One of the original loans was a 20-year loan. The second one was a 30-year loan. We were able to combine those into a 1.67% rate for 20 years. And so we're basically borrowing that money and paying it back less than what the inflation rate will be over 20 years. Now we have 40 payments. We've already made 3 payments. So the payments are a little under $2 million a year. So that $2 million had to be financed. And by law, it has to be financed through user fees. And that's why the rates have gone up. Now, if we would have been, there's one other thing, and you remember this too, the bids on the water plant came in at roughly about 10% less.
correct.
About 10% less than what we had anticipated. So we saved some there, and we saved an additional on the interest rate. I figured it up. It was about the citizens of Bucyrus who pay the utility bill, the water portion, will save over the course of that 20 years about $15 million. And that is a substantial amount, about $15 million in interest cost. that's a fantastic saving. So even though there's pain right now, there's short-term pain, when we get closer to that payoff date, and I'll be a little older, obviously, but hopefully still around drinking the water, we're going to be able to address the future government in the city of Bucyrus will be able to address the rates, see where they're going to go from there. That's one of the reasons. Obviously, we had to pay this back, so we appreciate your understanding that. Second reason is, for some reason, previous councils and administrations for the last 15 years, roughly, had not raised the rates and hadn't put hardly any money away for this plant. So when we came in, we've got no money sitting there, and the rates are artificially low. So think about your bills that would have been, let's say, 12 to 15 years ago, and your wages, how much they've gone up in 12 to 15 years. Well, City of Bucyrus wasn't looking ahead. The administrations, and they should have been looking ahead to this, and I've been critical of that, and and they threw that in our lap, and that's fine. We had to balance this budget. We had to build the water plant, so we've had to have some substantial rate increases, and we thank you for your patience with that. Now, here's the good news. You know, Jones and Henry they were our not only our engineers, but they're also our financial advisors. We have been able to keep the recommended rate increases through the end of 2018 to about 20% less than what Jones and Henry had recommended. And so the reason we've done that is we've been able to raise the rates lower because as the construction took a little longer, we were able to accumulate a small amount of money in that fund. And then we're using that to cushion the future rate increases as we pay back this bill. It's a little complicated. I'm happy to do the math with anybody. You can stop up the office or call the office. But we've had a lot of good fortune on that. And just let you know, we're keeping the rate increases as low as possible. And just to make sure that we're able to pay everything back and then pay our staff too. And at the same time, Jeff will tell you a little bit about this. We're trying to be aggressive into selling water outside the city limits. Do you want to tell them a little bit about our plans?
We've have done some mailings to different areas, and right now our next project, we're going to go out County Road 35. We picked up a few homes out there. Hopefully that'll be done by the end of February, and we have some residents out there that really appreciate it, have a hard time drilling a well or hitting a good vein, and so we're going to hopefully get that completed, and then right after that we're going to head out Route 4 north. Have a small business going in out there that could use our water, so we're going to head out to Andrews Road and probably a little past that and stop, but we're looking at different areas to try to expand our water out, and we'll see what the future holds for that.
As we increase our water sales, that takes pressure off of the residents of Bucyrus. Everyone's using less water. I know washers and dryers. I don't know if you have one of those new washers that use about a cup of water to wash your clothes, it seems like. But you know, as our rates have gone up, and we're trying to conserve resources, you know, our usage goes down. But that's fine. It's fine. That's why we're trying to go outside the city limits, and our same with the industry. We've got industry that is expanding, and those become better water users also, and help us too. So that all comes into a pool, and then what we receive by the end of the year. Hopefully that's all figured out in the budget. Last year we were slightly short in our budget, as we knew we were going to be, and we're using some of our carryover. And we're going to be doing that this year. Now, we do have a 7% rate increase coming in February 1st, and that'll be the last increase for 2019. There won't be any more increases. We'll have to look and see what 2020 brings, about how our revenue does too. So, anyway.
I think one other reason, when we built the new plant, there was a need for the industrial park that we had worked with the Crawford County Partnership, And we actually have couple of our sites in the industrial park that are actually food/beverage certified, which there's only 5 locations in the state of Ohio at that time, and we were put at number 3 on the list. So we're continuing to work with the Crawford County Partnership and reaching out to different manufacturers that actually need a food or beverage certified site. They have to have a required amount of water being able to be produced. They have to have a sewer capability of handling a certain amount of wastewater that they would produce, and so we're really happy about that. I know they're still working on that at Crawford County Partnership.
Yeah, since you brought up partnership, the City of Bucyrus invests in them every year as our economic development. That's just one of their wings. Workforce development is another big wing too. So we don't have the resources to have a full-time staff, which would be probably around $200,000 or more. We just don't have the funds in our general fund. So thanks to Gary and Aaron, Hannah, all the people over at the partnership for leading the charge on that. There was something else I was going to say about, but you probably wonder why these props are here. The City of Bucyrus puts out a wonderful product with this new state-of-the-art facility. The water is excellent. I want to tell you about my usage of bottled water. Bottled water is very convenient, right? You pick it up at a store or at a convenience store and you drink it and find, and I found myself drinking a lot of bottled water as it's become more popular over the years. And this bottled water sells for 99 cents. You can buy some of the name brands. It might be $2, $3, $4. You go to a sporting event, it can be a lot more. But what I've been doing now, I haven't drunk bottled water much at all since the city's new filtering system. I think it takes a lot of some of the taste out of it, some of the aftertaste that you would get maybe if it was sitting for a couple days, because it comes from the river and then goes into there, and you have some of that taste. But I don't taste that anymore. So what I've been doing, I'll take a bottle like this and an empty one and fill it up with city water and stick it in the refrigerator, and it keeps, and it's wonderful. So I would recommend that to everybody. It not only helps the environment, but you're saving a lot of money. So this is 33 ounces. So this would be about $4 a gallon, right, for this. Now if you go with Dasani or some of the other ones, you might be paying $8, $10, $12 a gallon for that. So you see how expensive that is. That adds up. If you drink a bottle of water every day and you're spending $2, you're spending $60 a month. Just in that, and you're spending more on those 30 bottles of water than you are on the average customer for our entire water portion of our utility bill. That's pretty amazing, isn't it? And what do you use for that water? We deliver that product to your door through city-owned pipes, which we maintain. A great product that has a tremendous rating, and you can wash your clothes in them, you can wash your pets, you can wash yourselves, you can drink it, and you cook with it. So it's got so many good uses, and we provide that to your door. Now this is a gallon of distilled water that you can buy at a grocery store too, and it sells for $1 a gallon. So I'm kind of working my way back. So let's say this is $4 a gallon, $1 a gallon. What do you think the cost of the water is that we provide to you in your homes per gallon? I'll wait a couple minutes where we're going to sit here for a few seconds while you think what the City of Bucyrus charges you. We deliver it to you for a special price. You think it's somewhere between there? Would you say it's $1 a gallon, or would you say it's $2 a gallon, or less? And what I'm going to do is I'm going to write a number here, and I'm going to see if anybody out there, if you guess this, and you're watching this on YouTube or off of our website or whatever, and if you get this, call me and we'll have a prize for you or something, if you guess this number. Mr. Wagner, how much does the City of Bucyrus charge for a gallon of water?
It equals to about a penny and a half a gallon.
There you are, 1.5 cents a gallon. So this gallon that's $1 a gallon. This would be about $4 to $12, let's say, a gallon here. We bring a gallon of water into your home for a penny and a half, and I had to go buy this. They don't deliver this, right? I had to get out of my car and go buy this. So we deliver it to your home. So it's, even though the rates have gone up and you've all been very patient about it, and like I say, I said in the first segment, we pay the same too. And we're looking to make sure that the rates increases are low, but we make no apologies on the quality of water. We have to have water. You need water to live. And the responsibility that we have in our city, I think that's the number one thing it's really needed. Obviously, safety forces are so important too, and so many of the other services we provide. But if we have any kind of compromise in our water supply, our water quality, which is what Jeff was saying earlier, where we were on the threshold of that, and now we're not. And now we're not. Now we've got a water plant. How long do you think that'll last?
Our new water plant?
New water plant, yeah.
I'm hoping 30, 40 years, 50
or
years.
more, yeah,
I
or
mean,
more. I
you know, besides equipment, things like
Yeah.
that will eventually wear out, but, I mean, we built it out there for it to be
Yeah.
the last one we'll see.
This is the last one we'll see. We expect it to be, the other one lasted 50 years, and there's no reason this one can't last that long too. So $0.015 a gallon is a good product. Like I say, we're going to keep the rates as low as possible, but we are committed to providing that to you. It's safe water. It's a wonderful project, a wonderful product that we put out. Since I brought up the old water plant, before we close, I want to thank everybody for viewing, and we'll be back in February with a new topic. Can you talk about what's going to happen to the old water plant?
I can, but I do want to add to one thing the mayor pointed out.
Okay.
When we talk about where our water comes from, we actually right now will be pumping in January and February. We'll be pumping water out of the Sandusky River. It does go into either the Riley
Mhm.
or and we'll fill the Othwaite back up during the winter. And I guess if you're talking about trivia questions, one that I found very fascinating was how much water is actually in the Othwaite Reservoir, and no one would ever imagine, but it has 1 billion gallons of water.
Oh shoot, I could have written that all on there. 1
Yeah.
billion gallons?
Yeah, so I mean, we got more than an ample supply
Yeah.
to serve the county if the need ever would arise, and I think
I'm
it's
glad
a
you bring
great,
that part up
great
too. 'Cause- yeah.
benefit that we have.
Yeah.
Even if we would lose the Riley for whatever reason,
Yeah.
the Othwaite would really serve
Mhm.
for a long time.
Yeah, we use about a million gallons a day in the city, so we're talking about a supply that's going to last you, even if you don't get another drop, years. So we have a wonderful. We thank Mayor Othwaite.
Yeah,
and
it's
his
very fortunate to
administration.
have that.
He had the foresight to do that. I know that was paid off a few years ago. Glad to have that paid off, but that allows us to have a wonderful source for drinking water and then for attracting industry too. So the old water plant, what's the plans on that, Jeff?
As you can see, it has started. They have started stripping some of the equipment and material out of it. We were going to have a pre-construction meeting this week. Unfortunately, he couldn't make it, so we'll have more information coming about that. But I'm sure here within the next couple of weeks, you're going to see some movement down there where they'll actually really start to make some headway and knocking some walls down.
And then, so what's going to happen to that area then too?
As far as I'm under the understanding, the soccer club is planning on expanding and making more parking or another field or whatever. But they got plans for it already, and it's exciting. Soccer is continuing to grow, and I give credit to the soccer club.
So it's
They're
improving the quality of life.
self-sufficient.
Yeah. It's a big part of our administration is improving the quality of life there. We took 8 trees out, the Overlanders took 8 dead trees out of there. They're going to come back and dig the stumps out here very soon too. So that area will be really a nice area. So unless there's anything else, I want to thank our producer extraordinaire, Mr. Gary Hess. Thank our guest, Mr. Mike Kalb, our computer supervisor. Service director, Mr. Wagner, does a fantastic job for the city. It's an honor to serve you guys. We're both from the area. It's an honor to guide this city into the future. And some of the things that we talk about in each edition of the Mayor's Roundtable, you'll see we're always looking ahead with an eye on the future for future residents here. And so that's what people did for us. That's why we're sitting in these chairs. So if you have topics that you would be interested in, you want us to address in the future, give us send us an email, give us a call. We're happy to address any topics, or if you have questions anytime, we're happy to address those. So go out and have a great month of January 2019. The weather's kind of turning a little snowy this weekend, but we're going to have our guys out shoveling and salting. You can be sure of that. And go out and enjoy a glass of that 1.5 gallon water for the city of Bucyrus. All right, good night, everybody.